Wolves 3, Southampton 1. Excellent result. Not the best performance in the world, if we're being completely honest. I think we'll definitely play better than that this season, and we have done. But given everything, given the circumstances, no Neves, Gomez making his debut as well. A lot of people probably wouldn't have heard of him. I think if you've played Football Manager, you probably have. But you know what? He did everything that was needed, to be honest with you. It was slightly raw, but that's to be expected. I think as debuts go, given the circumstances, I thought he was excellent. Man of the match for me today was Max Kilman. Just keeps getting better. He's just absolutely excellent. There was one tackle in the second half. I can't remember who it was on, but it was perfectly timed. Slide tackle. I thought he was excellent. I'd say everyone was sort of a 7 out of 10 today, and then you've got Kilman and Cody, who for me were the best players on the pitch, and also Jose Sarr. Southampton are quite an organised team, and I was a little bit concerned about that Breuer up front, but he was kept really quiet. Really positive, really positive, to be honest with you. The Ward-Prowse free kick, I think I'm going to go as far as saying that's the best goal I've seen scored against Wolves at Molineux. It was just unbelievable. It was just ridiculous technique on that. Sarr was getting nowhere near it. At first, you always think, I suppose, when a free kick goes in from that far out, the keeper's got to do a bit better, but he's just not getting there. It was just outstanding. I'm delighted as well for Traore coming off the bench as he did. He's public enemy number 1, and then 2 minutes later he's redeemed himself. And I weirdly think that the chance that he did take was actually probably one of the more difficult ones that he's had this season. He took it really well. I've got to give another mention as well to Fabio Silva. He's come on and he looks a completely different player. He was so physical. He could have got the assist for the Traore chance. I just thought he was excellent when he came on and did exactly what was needed. Overall, really positive. On to Brentford next week, which is going to be a tough game, but you saw what Southampton did to them in midweek, and it's not one that we should fear. I do think this season it's weirdly reminded me of our first season back in the Prem under Nuno, and I just think Bruno's just doing an outstanding job, and long may it continue.
Final score of today's match: Wolverhampton Wanderers 3, Southampton 1, which moves us in a really good position towards that push towards the Europa Conference. I didn't think at the start of the season I'd be saying, that type of expression, but we actually look really good. We look positive. And the thing is, there doesn't look like there's any limit with Bruno Lage in charge. He looks like he is the real deal. And that was absolutely brilliant today. The first half, we kind of... It was kind of a weird one to put into words, because to be fair, Saints were probably the better side in, the first 15, 20 minutes. But we had little good passages of play, but we were just kind of, the decision making in the final third just wasn't there. And plus we didn't seem to have enough bodies there, to be honest with you. I mean, the starting lineup was kind of the front three you'd expect: Podence, Trincao and Jimenez. We was a bit surprised to see Neves not there, but obviously because he's got COVID, I mean, that's kind of one of them where you're fair enough, really. And then Toti Gomez to come in, who I thought was absolutely brilliant today. He didn't really put a foot wrong. He was getting in the right areas. Sometimes he was maybe getting in the way of too many players, but again, it's his first match with us. We're not going to expect someone to come in and just perfectly nail down the system, considering he's been away for, is it 18? I think it's 18 months or something along those lines. But no, we started kind of Saints were controlling the game. They looked like they had a goal in them. But you could just kind of tell as soon as Sarr made that save at 0-0, we just weren't going to lose that match. And that is a massive sign as well, really, that, we could be under the cosh for long periods of it, and Sarr can just keep us in a game because he is that good of a goalkeeper, arguably one of the most underrated goalies in the Premier League. And after that, we kind of just it was kind of a drifting in and out type of game. It was very stalemate, and then we added a bit of tempo in the game, and it's a clear penalty, to be honest with you. It's clear as day. I mean, it's the fact that the ref missed it at first. Load of question marks about his performance today, because I thought the ref just overall was absolutely horrendous. Probably got told at the start of the second half, you might want to give a couple of decisions to Wolves, because we did not get a single one. It wasn't until VAR got involved where we actually got a decision. First penalty since Southampton in February last year. I mean, but Jimenez, great penalty. That's just Raul Jimenez, to be honest with you. Just really, really good penalty. I don't necessarily think he had a good performance today, but in terms of with a penalty, 9 times out of 10, he's going to put him in the back of the net. Start of the second half, we were the ones, again, dictating the tempo. We had a really good opportunity with a free kick. And I think it was Toti Gomez, and obviously Cody put it in the back of the net. But we looked threatening every time we was whipping in those balls, especially Aït-Nouri's crossing. I mean, again, he's becoming into one of the better players at this football club. I mean, another man of the match performance from him, in my opinion, today. And second goal, I mean, I've been very critical of Connor Cody. Like, at the start of this season, obviously all of last season. To be fair, I've never really been his biggest fan. Last couple of months, he's done exactly what I want him to do. He's proved me wrong, and he's proven many other fans wrong. He has really stepped up, and he looks so good defensively, and he just looks bothered again, which I think is something that not just him, but the majority of this squad have been missing, and it's so good to see, and it's so refreshing as well. And then we just kind of, just saw the game out. Fabio Silva came on, and I felt his introduction as well was absolutely brilliant. I mean, what can you do when James Ward-Prowse scores a free kick like that? It's just so good. You can't... I'm obviously annoyed that we've conceded, but when you concede a goal like that, I mean, what can you do? No goalie in the world ever saves that. That was an unbelievable free kick. Adama comes on, and we kind of... don't really use Adama. His first kind of touch like that, but first ball in was absolutely horrendous. Then he's had the opportunity where it was harder to miss. That just sums up Adama in a nutshell, to be honest with you. Just like, he'll have moments of brilliance, but then he can just be so brain dead at the same time. Absolutely superb finish. It's the fact he's had to think about it more, and he's actually put it into the back of the net. Hopefully that means that Spurs can actually put in a better offer for him, because to be completely honest with you, I really don't see a future with Adama Traore. As much as I don't necessarily rate Trincao, he suits the system a lot better, and he adds that balance towards our team. As soon as Adama comes on, we just kind of lose all of that balance. And he's one of those, luxury players that you get, but we're not exactly getting the luxury side of Adama. We're just getting someone who, if he's asked, he's incredible, but most of this season, he just doesn't look like he cares. And as far as I'm concerned, I'd probably get him out of the football club, to be honest with you. But it's a superb 3 points. We go into the next match full of confidence again, and that's back-to-back massive wins. If we're going to start pushing for this 7th place, which... don't get me wrong, I didn't, at the start of the season, think that would be realistic. For me, the aim was going to be just finish higher than what we did last season with signs of improvement. The fact we can look at that now and think that's actually a realistic opportunity for us to get into Europe again, which I didn't think again I'd be saying, I think that we've got the ability to do it. And the type of teams that get into Europe are the type of teams that win games like that today. A Southampton team full of form, full of confidence. And we just done a really good job today. I mean, they argue that they could have got a bit more from the game. And to be honest with you, you could argue that as well. But it's the fact that we were clinical with our opportunities. Every time the ball went to us, we looked like scoring. I mean, they, to be fair, looked like they had a goal in them, but they never looked like winning the football match. Anyway, thanks for having me on Talking Wolves. And that guy can finally stop commenting, asking, where is Bib? Cheers, guys.
Just got home from the game. Another really good performance. Solid defensively again. Jose Sarr, what a bloke. What a bloke. Because, let's be honest, he's phenomenal. He's an upgrade on Rui. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Great keeper. Defensively, we didn't really look trouble too much. They put a lot of pressure on us first 15 minutes. They got a lot of corners out of us, which we handled really well, to say. James Ward-Prowse is a really good set-piece taker. We sort of handled them really well, which was, again, I think a good thing to see. I know we shouldn't be under pressure too much at the start of the games, but coming through it, great. It took them a sort of like a 35, 40 yard screamer to score, and what a free kick that is. I was behind that, and what a goal. I mean, you hold your hands up, don't you, when you see that. But yeah, we scored 3 goals. Wow. Nice to see Riles getting the score sheet, even as a penalty. It looked a penalty from where I was, but I haven't seen it again since. But yeah, calm, cool, just put it the other way. The second, Cody getting a bit fortunate, I think, wasn't he? But you take it. Brilliant. great set piece again. Nice to get another goal. And the last one, Traore, you sort of screamed at him a few minutes before when he puts that one over after some good work by Fabio. And but he comes up with a really calm finish. And I think if you can sort of get that into his head where he hasn't got to smash everything and just hit things calm, he could be a great player. We all know that. I mean, he gives us a lot, doesn't he, when he comes on? And that was a lovely little finish. Big shout out to Fabio again. Another mature performance when he come on, won a few free kicks, turned really well, battled for everything. Thought he could have scored again. I don't know how close that was to going in when the keeper saved it because I was down the other side. But yeah, from where I was, he done really well again. I don't think Raul offered too much in the whole game again, apart from the penalty, which is a shame. But he's still there and he's still doing his bit. Everyone's doing the bit. Kilman was brilliant. And I've got to give a big shout out to Toti Gomez. I don't think any of us thought he was going to start today. And he's not put a foot wrong. He's done really well. He slipped over a couple of times, but it never cost us. And he's like one of them players that gives 110% all the time. So credit to him for coming into the team. I suppose last minute, I don't even know if he thought he was going to start, but yeah. Again, 3-1 win. We scored 3 goals at home. Brilliant for the fans. Shame to concede. But I had my free bet as Raul 3-1 to win. So I'm a winner. Happy days. Brilliant. On to the next game, and let's hope we keep the points coming on the board.
Wolves 3, Southampton 1 at Molineux, a third win in a row in all competitions, a second win in a row in the Premier League in 2022. A very welcome 3 points for Wolves indeed today. After a shaky first half performance, a better second half performance, and last 10 minutes which would have had Wolves fans gasping for breath by the end of it, where we saw Adama's first goal of the season, which I think every fan will have been very pleased to see come along at long last. It was a welcome in anyway. Wolves went into the game playing the regular system. Toti Gomez started today, a man back from loan at Grasshoppers, well, back on loan from Grasshoppers for January to see how it goes anyway. A bit of a surprise selection in the team sheet. I don't think anyone can argue about that, but I don't think anyone can argue that he was exemplary and looked exactly like Willy Bolly did for Wolves for 2 or 3 years there at a time. He was composed on the ball, defended well. I was really impressed with him today. Kilman, exceptional again, absolutely brilliant, I thought. Really marshalled that right side of the pitch well, and Cody got his goal. Was very happy for him. Played well also, I think. Jose Sad is running out of superlatives to describe him at the moment. He's brilliant, isn't he? I don't think, some others might say something, I don't think he could have done anything about that Ward-Prowse free kick, which was absolutely stunning, probably the best I've ever seen. Couldn't quite believe it when he was shaping up to take the shot, and the fact that he just smashed it in, I was like, oh God, the last 5-10 minutes of the game. But Wolves took the lead after the first, halfway through the first half or so, and Raul Jimenez a decent penalty. Aït-Nouri won it, did well to win it. It took VAR an age to give what looked to be a Stonewall penalty, which we'll have to be grateful for, because, you know, Wolves and VAR doesn't exactly have the best relationship. Southampton threatened quite a lot. They had 7 corners, and I think the first 20 minutes or something stupid like that, they were banging on the door, but Sa produced some great saves, especially the one from Salisu. I think Wolves were 1-0 up at the time. That was a really good save to keep them out. And he made others as well from Romeu and Brozier and the likes. He was in the cheeky Cruyff turn on Brozier as well in the first half. He was really, really good today, but that's what we've come to accept now. I'm sure a Portuguese call-up isn't too far away, and a Portuguese number 1 starting spot isn't too far away from him either. No Neves today, out with COVID, but I thought Moutinho and Donker both did quite well. Trincao was okay again, like nothing to set the world alight, but nothing really bad that he did today. Podence was a little bit off the pace, but I thought he linked the play quite well, but certainly not at his best. And Raul, he got his goal, and his hold-up play was decent, if not average. It was okay, but I'm happy to see him get his 4th goal of the season as well. But yeah, like I said, Toti Gomez and Conor Cody are very impressed with them today. The second goal for Wolves, Kilman's header loops over Fraser Forster, hits a post. Cody hits it in over Raul on the line. It was a bit of a mess of a goal, and I thought VAR would find a way to disallow it like it always seems to for us, but luckily it didn't. Good goal, 2-0 up, and you think we're coasting because we don't let in goals, and then that free kick, like I mentioned, was exceptional. And when that goes in, you're sitting there looking numb at the TV, and you think, well, we've got 7 minutes left plus injury time. You're like, this is not what we need. And then the Perrad header. Do you see? That's the difference between Wolves this season. Like last season, without a doubt, when everything was going against us, that goes in, doesn't it? But this year, I think fortunes are slightly turned and Wolves have been a lot better and a lot more compact, and we just count our lucky stars that hit the crossbar, because that would have been a real sickener for Wolves, because they haven't tended to throw away leads on their last one, basically, because when we do get them, we hang on to them for dear life. But we scored 3. Traore, bad miss a couple of moments before that, and if Southampton had got up the other end and equalised, I think Wolves fans would have hounded him out of the stadium. Totally. But a really good goal this was. Played through by Aït-Nouri, beat a man, tucked it into the far bottom corner on his left foot. You could see, well, to me anyways, in my opinion, I thought it meant an awful lot to him. I think, it would as well as scoring your first goal of the season, your first goal since, I think, May. But I was pleased that it meant so much to him. And I'm firmly in the camp that I think we have to keep him. I think he's such a good player. I really do. He frustrates the life out of me. He really, really does. That miss, I was there, I was like, oh my God. But the flip side of that is he can beat a man and tuck it into the bottom corner. It was a bit like Neto's goal against Chelsea last year. Same end, same corner, and the same celebration as well with his hands. But he was really good, I thought, to finish that. And, well, Wolves just a really good win today. On course, only 6 points outside the top 4 of the game, and I'm not really looking that far forward, but maybe if we can get another addition in. I think we're signing someone from Portugal, Chiquinto or someone like that today. So all seems to be going well at the moment, and we'll move on to the next game and hopefully pick up 3 points then. So yeah, Wolves 3, Southampton 1.
So Wolves win at Molineux again, becoming a nice habit. As beating Southampton 3-1 in a game that, if I'm honest, wasn't a great performance, wasn't our best, but by no means was our worst. We lacked a bit of control at the beginning and at certain times during the game, but that's partly down to the refereeing performance, and then also Southampton's press, which we struggled to break out of at times. The ball retention and ball recycling wasn't too good at all. But that pressure was kind of relieved after Ryan Aït-Nouri was fouled in the box. We finally got a VAR decision go our way, which was nice. And then Raul Jimenez calmly slotted away to put Wolves 1-0 up, taking a bit of pressure off towards half-time. After half-time, started again the same kind of way. Some of the passing was off today. There were a couple of dodgy performances, if I'm honest, but it was a good cross in from Ryan Aït-Nouri from a free kick where Fraser Forster got caught out in no man's land. Kilman headed back towards the far post, and Cody bundled it over the line. So that put us 2-0 up, and we were looking comfortable from that point. Until, of course, there was a free kick conceded, and I forgot at the point of watching it who was on top of the ball. But James Ward-Prowse probably hit the best goal I've ever seen at Molineux in my entire life. It was an absolute rocket and a worthy goal to put Southampton back in the game. But it was closing in the dire moments where Adama Traore stayed onside for once, which was a good start, and then took it past Salisu and slotted home for his first goal of the Premier League season. And for a man full of speculation regarding his future at Wolves, I thought he took it very well, and that capped off a decent performance in front of goal for once. Wolves scored more than one, which was nice. So yeah, take care.